Just look at my old house. House I used to live in England before I moved overseas. I love that house. Lived there for 7 years. Down the road is the marsh. Lots of farms. There's farms all the way around. I used to love go walking down there, especially on the marsh. Okay, there was a river that ran past and I used to go and watch the boats. So they went down to the sea. I used to watch the cows and the sheep, go for long walks, watch the sunsets, even the sunrises if I got up early enough. In spring, in the garden, I used to grow daffodils and crocuses and watch the snowdrops come up. And in summer, around the back, I used to have a beautiful garden with apple trees and pear trees and all kinds of things in there. I used to love sitting out at night time. And it was grand. I used to listen to the tractors way into the night. I used to work till about 10:30 at night. And I'd watch the house martins dive and swoop and listen to the cows and the sheep in the distance. Yeah, I love that house. In winter, when it snowed, it used to get really thick. Go all quiet and white. Yeah, I love that house. Well, things started to change though. My son was born, the first son. And this house seemed to get a little bit smaller. With the new prams and the cots and the new clothes and the washing and everything like that, the house seemed to get a little bit more cramped. And my second son came and it got even more cramped. Felt really small and tiny, so we decided to move. Are you feeling small and cramped at the minute? Especially being off school. You can't go and see your friends, you can't go outside. I know a story of an old lady who had that problem. Would you like to hear it? Cool. Sit back and I'll tell you the story. Are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then I'll begin. A Squash and a Squeeze by Julia Donaldson. A little old lady lived all by herself, with a table and chairs and a jug on the shelf. A wise old man heard her grumble and grouse. "There's not enough room in my house. Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Take in your hen," said the wise old man. "Take in my hen? What a curious plan." Well, the hen laid an egg on the fireside rug and flapped round the room, knocking over the jug. The little old lady cried, "What shall I do? It was pokey for one, and it's tiny for two. My nose has a tickle and there's no room to sneeze. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Take in your goat," said the wise old man. "Take in my goat? What a curious plan." Well, the goat chewed the curtains and trod on the egg and sat down to nibble the table leg. The little old lady cried, "Glory be! It was tiny for two, and it's titchy for three. The hen pecks the goat, and the goat's got fleas. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Take in your pig," said the wise old man. "Take in my pig? What a curious plan." So she took in the pig, who chased the hen and raided in the larder again and again. The little old lady cried, "Stop, I implore! It was titchy for three, and it's tiny for four. Even the pig in the larder agrees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." "Take in your cow," said the wise old man. "Take in my cow? What a curious plan." Well, the cow took one look and charged straight at the pig and jumped on the table and tapped out a jig. The little old lady cried, "Heavens alive! It was tiny for four and it's weeny for five. I'm tearing my hair out. I'm down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. Take them all out, said the wise old man. But then I'll be back where I first began. So she opened the window and flew out the hen. That's better. At last I can sneeze again. She shooed out the goat and she shoved out the pig. My house is beginning to feel pretty big. She huffed and she puffed and she pushed out the cow. Just look at my house, it's enormous now. Thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for 5, it's gigantic for 1. There's no need to grumble and there's no need to grouse. There's plenty of room in my house. And now she's full of frolics and fiddly-dees. It isn't a squash and it isn't a squeeze. Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddly-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. The end. I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully, I'm going to be back for another story soon. Until then, bye-bye.